Can you hear us, Steve?
Yes, I hear you guys. Do you hear me?
Hello there, I can hear you. Hi.
Good.
I'm not sure Stephen can hear us though.
I can hear you clear and perfect.
Yeah, I'm not sure Stephen can. I think he's might be having problems.
I see he's trying to do something. He's playing around with his computer.
Yes. Hi, yeah, I'm Ian, by the way.
This camera is a little bit too high up, so you only see my forehead, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I got it now. There we go. Now it's better.
Hello, Vanik. We
Hello.
can wait 2 minutes. There's some customer is on the way. Okay.
No problem. I've got time.
Thank you.
I just finished work and I'm like, you know, powered out.
There's some customer is on the way.
I did 2 weeks ago a presentation for CAP in Dubai. There were 490 participants online. Really? Unbelievable. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think people are slowly getting fed up of these web seminars. They are looking for the real stuff again. So I guess in another few months and it'll be okay. I've got a terrible cough. I don't know, since about 4 weeks. It's the pollens which are flying in the air. They are giving me a hard time.
Yeah.
On Thursday, I'm getting my COVID vaccine this coming Thursday. My first shot.
Wow. Some people.
Then I can start traveling again.
Okay, Vanik, I think you can start the course. The most customer already arrived. Yeah.
All right. So, okay. Stephen, you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
He's standing there like us. Okay, what's going on? Read me also. Okay, so good. I don't know what to say. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. People from everywhere around the world are watching this small Friday evening presentation. And I want to say thank you to Aidite for putting this on, to organize this. And I wanted to talk about their intraoral scanner because we have been using it. I've been using it from my lab. And I must really say, and I want to talk about this today, it's been really, for us, a fantastic scanner. And, you know, you say, everybody says that their scanner is good, their scanner is the best and all that. But the scanner is like most of the scanners on the market, but it's simple. Okay, that's the whole key thing. And I'll talk about that later on. Because for me, the scanner is nothing else than like taking an impression. And when you take an impression, what does the dentist do? He puts that impression in the mouth. He takes that impression, takes it out and sends it to the lab. Okay. He doesn't want to fiddle around with too much stuff and things. He just wants to make an impression. Most of the intraoral scanners nowadays, you have to put so much data into it. and then send it off. And that's many dentists don't like that. They say, I want to just take an impression. If it's digital or analog, I just want to make an impression. I don't want to fill out so many forms and stuff and all that. So we'll talk about it later on. But something very interesting, you know, about 35 years ago, that's when basically I started with this, let me see if it's working here, my presentation. Yeah. About 35 years ago, I started basically using digital technology. And at that time, we started with the CEREC system, with this one here on the left-hand side, the CEREC, oh, what happened here? Oh, interesting. So I guess I can't, oh, okay. Have to be careful now with the CEREC on the CEREC 1 there, and on the right-hand side, the CEREC 2. This was the first bridge ever milled on a CEREC machine. I was at that time part of the team. We were 5 which developed the in-lab system. And this is still a historic bridge which was ever done. This is the first one ever done on a CEREC system. This was nearly 35 years ago, and everybody was laughing at us. This is never going to happen. Nobody's going to do you know, bridges and crowns with CAD/CAM. You know, at that time, you could stick your fingernail around or underneath the margin. They were not fitting so good, but I always believed in it. And, you know, I never thought it's going to happen so, you know, so dramatic like we see it nowadays, but it's moved on. So things have changed, you know, the way we work in the dental laboratories, the way the dentists work, things are really, really changing. Okay. So, you know, I say shit happens. You know, you get an impression like this. Every lab, every dentist, you know, they don't like to see things like this. So we say, you know, the artist is unknown who did this type of presentation. I don't say it's a dentist, but, you know, we can't always blame the dentist or dental assistant who makes the impression. Sometimes it's the patient, you know, who he keeps on bleeding, he keeps on maybe throwing up and all those kind of things. So it's easy for me as a lab owner to say, the impression is very bad, the prep is very bad. So, you know, what's really happening when you see these kind of things, people are looking for possibilities. They say, can we not go a different way? Can we go intraoral scanning? And that's exactly what's been happening now worldwide. We see that in our situation now, in our lab, you know, we print now, to give you an idea, about 1,000 models a month, okay? 1,000 models a month. That means this is all digital work. And we are a small lab, okay? For Switzerland, we're a big lab, but with 15 people, you know, you're not so big, but printing 1,000 models with 15 people, that's a lot. And that's because of intraoral scanning. Really, it's changing the life in our laboratory. Now, intraoral scanning, you know, we have to understand a little bit what's been happening. It all started with the CEREC system. So everything which you see on the right-hand side here, those are basically machines with intraoral scanners. So that means those are chair-side solutions. The dentist scans, and then he has to do the construction and he tries to mill it. Then later on, some companies, some smart companies, you know, why not just try to bypass the impression, and we now will start scanning. And we don't want to have a milling machine because many dentists, they don't want to bother with milling and all those kind of things. So then they started with basically, like on the left-hand side, with scanners, which should replace impressions. So today we actually want to talk about the left-hand side products, because the right-hand side products, I must really say, they've not been very often optimized for intraoral scanning. The right side scanners are made more for you scan, you design on screen, and then you mill. The left hand makes everything, basically, it opens up everything. It's a pure scanner, so you can scan, do whatever you want, or you have a software tied with it, for example, Exocad, which gives you the best design, okay? And what's been happening worldwide, and this is something really, which I can really say is, for example, CEREC, you know, it's so sad to see what's happening with them. I was part of the team developing that software in the early days. Now the software has completely gone down I would say down the drain. because the software doesn't stand up to the needs which we have nowadays in designing crown and bridge, like exocad and those kind of things. And they've geared more to the dentist for doing an inlay, a crown, and those kind of things. That's okay. But I think with software like exocad, in the future, dentists which will want to do chairside, they can also use like a Cameo scanner and do a chairside solution. But the software is so much more advanced than CEREC. So CEREC is still the big name because they have marketing budgets and all those kind of things. But I don't think the future, if they continue like this, they have any future, because their software is actually, personally said, out of date. Okay. And I see the same thing happening to softwares like 3Shape and all those systems. You know, 3Shape as a system locked in itself. I also say it's like game over. Thing is going towards systems which give you all kind of possibilities, which are smart systems, and that is like exocad. I mean, we're not talking about exocad, but it's a part of the scanner. So if you have a good scanner and you want to tie it together, that's where those things happen. So what we can say, you know, there is no bad intraoral scanner. All the scanners you see, they're all pretty good. And if you see people talking about, you know, our scanner can do micron here, micron there, this and that, and all those kind of things, that's all marketing, okay? The scanners are as good as the person who handles it, okay? So we can really say there's no bad intraoral scanners, as good as the scanning skills, okay? The goal is to guarantee the clinical good enough accuracy with a minimum learning curve. So the whole idea is that when you scan, you don't have to learn too much. You follow a little bit the scanning strategy which the companies give you, and basically from there on, it should go straight forwards, okay? So that's why I think nowadays, it's the operator who can get a good result. And if you look at the scanners on the market, you know, we can see all kind of scanners. We can see Sirona, we can see Carestream, we can see 3Shape, then Planmeca, Medit, the Cameo scanner, and things which we should know when we're selecting a scanner. First of all, accuracy. And I would say there we don't really have to compare anymore. Accuracy with all of them is excellent, because there's always an algorithm also on the back of it, and none of the companies would come out with a scanner if the accuracy would not be excellent, okay? Resolution, naturally, that is one point, but I don't think it's so important, the resolution. The sensitivity to the object surface and condition, that's very important. It's like, how good is the software behind the scanner, recognizing the metal, putting metal together, shiny ceramic restoration, which you scan over it. All those kind of things are very important. How sensitive is the scanner to the object surface? Something also very important, people are not talking about this, is when you scan and you lose a position, how fast does the scanner take to get back to that same position to continue scanning? That is very, very important, because, you know, you start scanning, maybe you go away, you come back. How long does it take until it continues scanning? So this is also very, very important. So that's what I call speed. You know, it's not the speed, tick, 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 making pictures. It's the speed finding the old position and continuing from there. Sure, it's also the size and the weight very important, that you don't get tired. That's why most of the companies have not really been going towards the wireless scanners, because the wireless scanners have the battery inside them, and the battery makes everything a little bit more heavier, more weight. So that's why, and it starts to lose sometimes contact. You see it if in a dental office somebody's using an ultrasonic somewhere, and he's got an intraoral scanner, wireless, boom, connection is gone. So the software also with the scanners is important. The price, which is important, and the price is a big thing. You know, people have a feeling, oh, if I buy a scanner for 60,000 euros, like a Prime scan, it's so much better than a scanner which only costs maybe 10,000 euros. So they think high price is better, But in this case, in this situation, it's not. It's really not. The higher price scanners are just fantastic marketing behind it, big budgets of marketing, and the smaller scanners, basically, they don't have the money to market it like that, but the quality of the scan is very, very good and easy to learn. Okay, that's very important. So we'll talk about the Cameo intraoral scanner today. And the Cameo intraoral scanner is basically, it's this one which I have here. You can see it. It's this little small thing here. And it's a very, very simple, straightforward scanner. And it's, you will see it. It's amazing that something like this can do such a good job. Very important is on the computer hardware. You know, I'm using it now on a not such a good computer. It's on a laptop. I'm doing the presentation, so the speed is not so good on mine. You know, I have just the basic requirements which you see here, like a 2060 NVIDIA graphic. I just got a scanner now for a dentist, and he has a laptop with a 3080 NVIDIA graphic card in it. He's got 64 gigabytes RAM. He's got an i9 processor. So the thing is just, it just flies. So the scanner, again, depends more on the power of the PC to be faster or to be slower. So it works on most of the systems, but if you have a very high-powered laptop or a PC and all that, then it just flies. Otherwise, it's a little bit slower, okay? But it still works. Huh? So what we need on a PC, also very important, is that we need 3 USB 3 ports, minimum of 3 USB 3 ports. And that is also kind of important. One is for the dongle, and the other one is basically for connecting the scanner to the computer. And one would be left over if you want to calibrate the scanner. So that's why we have those, we want to have 3 ports. I'll talk about a few things afterwards about the output of the scanner, because that's very, very important. So some of the features and the highlights is, first of all, the tip which we have here, this tip here is one of the smallest you can find on the market, okay? So really you can get into your mouth, you can get really everywhere. One of the systems which makes good scans actually, but the tip is so big, is like the one which they use for Invisalign for the kids, iTero, is really, I think it's too big, because you can't go behind the molars back there. It's a big problem, okay? So here we have a small tip, and we can get really everywhere in all angulations. Then the accuracy, like I mentioned before, we have a very accurate thing. It's also how good does the scanner put the pictures together? What kind of algorithm is behind it to match the pictures? Is it good, not good? What we have been seeing with 3Shape is sometimes we get double scans on the incisal edge. So when we get scans from dentists, sometimes the incisal edge has like double scans. With the Cameo, we basically have not seen that happening. Even if you make mistakes during scanning, that's really, they have a very good algorithm behind it. Then it's powderless. That's very important. Okay, so we have a powderless system, like you see here. The scanner scans in color. I mean, I think most of them do nowadays. I don't think anybody does black and white scanning anymore. The weight of the scanner is it's a very light scanner. Okay, there's no weight to it. So that's very important. High speed. Something very, very important is this here, soft tissue removal. And people don't talk about this issue really much, but this is a big thing. The good scanners, they have that automatic. That means when you scan, sometimes in the lower, especially in the lower part of the jaw, you have your tongue and you have sometimes your cheeks and everything, and that gets into the scan. So then when the lab gets that scan, it's full of like debris around the scanner, around the scanned object. And now the lab has to spend lots of time cutting everything away and on and on and on. The other side also, sometimes when you have lots of debris around your scan, it has a hard time putting the occlusion together. So when you're trying to fix the occlusion on your scanner, upper and lower, it can't find it because there's too much debris around it. So soft tissue removal, which is done automatically, on this scanner is really excellent. Other companies have started doing that, also like Medit is now doing that. So these are, I would say, very comparable scanners. You know, Medit and Cameo, I would say they are in the same class of scanners, okay? Then the output, which we are looking for, okay, we want open output. This is very, 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 very important, okay? With the scanner, with the Cameo, we have output STL, OBJ, PLY. And you say, what is the difference? STL is basically standard, no color with the scan, okay? So it's basically gray and white, or black and white, or brown and white, or whatever you want. There's no color involved in it. OBJ is, and PLY is a scan quality which has got the color inside it, okay? So when you scan the tissue and tissue color and all that, it comes in OBJ. And this is sometimes very important if you have a situation where you can hardly see where the prep line is, okay? So then you can see a difference between the white and the pink area, and you see the preparation, the margin preparation on some difficult cases. Now, systems like, let's say, Sirona, they don't allow you to export OBJ. They allow you to, they say they have an open system, but they only allow you to export STL. So it's not true that it's open. It's partially open, okay? Same with the tree shape. If you want to use a tree shape file as an ExoCAD user, you will only get it in STL, not in OBJ, okay? And that's why these systems we should not use as a lab. I tell all my friends, don't use any system where they block you, okay? Where they say, no, we have an open system. Well, if it's open, I want to use anything. I want to be able to do STL, OBJ, PLY, depends on my software. Then very important is the calibration. How easy is it to calibrate, okay? Now, let me see, I've got the calibration body here. With this scanner Cameo, we have a calibration body. Basically, you take this lid off, you stick your scanner in here and start the software, and it does an auto calibration. It calibrates itself, and basically it's done. So it gives you from time to time a signal and says, okay, please calibrate the furnace, the scanner, and that's the way these kind of things work. There's a dynamic indicator. I don't think it's so important, like this green light back here. This tells you the scanner is ready, and red, it would be a problem. So, but that's, if there's a problem, then I don't want to see any light, and then I hate that, okay? So let's look at some of the features. If you look at these little squares, which you see here, this is just to symbolize the size of the different tips, okay? So, like, you know, the wireless from Tree Shape, I think, has a quite big tip in front. Oops, in the wrong way. Then the Carestream is not bad. It's also pretty big. The Sirona, the Omnicam is also, you know, it's better. The Medit is very good, and the Cameo is the smallest tip on the market. Okay, so, and I think it's very good. So people, when they do demonstrations, you know, they will try to demonstrate always on a mount where you see everything very nicely. And so if you have a big tip in front, it scans more surface, so you have a feeling it scans faster because the pictures are bigger, okay? But it can't get everywhere. If you have a smaller tip, it has to make more pictures, so it feels that's like it's taking more time, but it's actually not, but there are more pictures, okay? So that's why small tip gets everywhere in the mount. So again, the tip is very important to know. You can sterilize it, okay? It's preheated. Inside here, there is like connecting to the scanner, so it heats it up, so it doesn't fog. The Medit scanner, we also have one here, has one thing which, in a way, it's good, but the patients have been complaining when they had a prep, it's blowing hot air through from the camera into the tip. So it always blows and air on the prep tooth, and the patients have been complaining about that the sensitivity feelings, okay? So that's why I prefer when it heats up. Then, like I mentioned before, truly open, okay? You can do anything. So I don't, you don't have to talk, can I do a crown? Can I do a veneer? Can I do an implant? Can I do bridge, inlays, orthodontics? It's an impression machine, I call it. It's to make an impression digitally, okay? We have an option, it's called easy motion sensing operation. That means you can set up that the scanner, you can say forwards, backwards, left, right, like a air mouse, okay? So you don't have to press any button or anything. You can do that all by motion. Maybe I'm too old. I have a hard time using that motion system because I guess you have to get used to it in a way, because sometimes, you are so much in stress when you're scanning, and now you make a mistake, you go backwards, forwards, and then the mess starts, okay? But it's there because if it's not there, people say, I want that, okay? That's always the situation. The user interface which we are using is very good, okay? We have a clinical toolkit. That's something, everybody wants that. What does a clinical toolkit mean? It means that the dentist can analyze his prep, he can draw a prep line for the laboratory, all those kind of things. It's beautiful to have, it's in here, but none of our dentists use it. They say, I never draw the margin on my impression. I basically just want to make an impression, okay? And I just want to send, I don't even look at it afterwards, okay? So we have to be careful. We have two types of customers out there. One type of customer is the freak who says, oh, I want to be able to afterwards check everything, check the occlusal, draw the margin so the lab will do it perfect. Yes, we can do it. And the other one says, I don't want to, and he just jumps over that clinical toolkit possibility. Then very important is there is no annual fee, okay? This is very important. If you buy a iTero, basically, some of the dentists told me, the monthly license you pay, in 4 years, you've paid for a second scanner, okay, with that licensing fee. So basically, you pay for 2 scanners, okay? Same with the tree shape. Every year, you have to pay a license fee. I don't know why you have to pay a license fee. It doesn't make any sense. That's why they're losing so much market share. Now, other companies are trying to do it in a different way. They say, okay, let's make a service contract. So you don't have to pay license fee, but with the service contract, you will get technical support and all those kind of things. That's actually a hidden license fee, okay, if you have to do a service contract. Because again, I mean, what is the scanner? It basically goes in, makes your pictures, and you send it off. I don't need to have an annual fee or a service fee or anything, because I don't think it's necessary. And naturally, there's a team from Aidite with the distributors around Europe, which basically do the technical support. And there is not much. I have been doing it now with my customers here, my dentists. I just log on to TeamViewer when they're scanning, and then I see when they do a mistake. So then I say it, and basically next time it doesn't happen. So it takes a few days getting used to it. Something important is also because, the scanner it's plastic, metal, and everything inside it, is that before you start using it in the morning, or even it can happen in between, when it cools down to a certain temperature, it'll first heat up, okay? Because when it's got the right temperature, that guarantees you the accuracy. You can say 1 degree change of room temperature is 2 microns in accuracy on milling machines, on those kind of things. So that's why if the scanner maintains its temperature, which has been calibrated, then basically you have the most accuracy. The scan head, naturally, which you see here, can be reused. So let's go on to the next picture here. If you compare some of the some of the systems, we can say one of the biggest drawbacks with many of the scanners, not many, but with 2, are the annual fees, okay? That you have to pay like a fee, like the Trios, the iTero is also one of them. Sirona doesn't have an annual fee or a monthly fee. They have, the way they do it, they have a service charge, or the CEREC Club, or whatever they want to call it. It's actually also a hidden fee, okay? The weight of the scanners are around 300 grams. That's all in an acceptable range. And the size, all of them are pretty good. Something what we can really say is also some of the scanners are very pricey, like the Prime Scan from Sirona, which you see here, is a very pricey scanner. And the thing is, they say it's very fast and the flow is very good, okay? The Aidite, which is one of the lowest priced scanners, is nearly, I would say, as fast as the Prime Scan, okay? And the size belongs to one of the best on the market, okay? And very easy, so we get 5 points, very easy, very easy to use, okay? So this is very important to know, that we have a very simple scanner and it's low priced. And we have our own CAD software. I mean, you can get it with the CAD software, which is down here. This would be the ExaCAD software, which is a clinical version for the dentist. So if a dentist wants to use the scanner chairside, basically he has a fantastic system. He has the ExaCAD, the light version of ExaCAD for the dentist, the clinical version. And when you scan, it goes automatically. You can start designing, you can do whatever you want, and you can get like a small milling machine, a chairside milling machine, and basically mill it in one of those 5-axis or 4-axis milling machines. So basically, you have the same advantages like a Sirona, but for a fraction of the price. This is very important to know. Again, fraction of a price, that's what we're talking at. The Cameo is one of the lowest on the markets with its price. We are talking around, I would say, in a range of around 10,000 euros. In that price range we are, plus minus. I don't exactly know the price in different countries. Medit has the i500, and now they just introduced yesterday the i700, which is the more expensive one. And the only difference between the i500 and i700 in the first moment, which I've seen, is the speed. It's faster, the i700 than the i500. So this way you have an update and you pay, I don't know, I think 5,000 euros more, something like that. But again, these are only marketing tools to to sell again, to have something different again. How do we define accuracy? And everybody talks about accuracy. The thing is, the way we define accuracy, low accuracy and low precision. When you shoot on a target, your bullet shots are everywhere. Okay, this one is high precision here, but low accuracy. It's not in the middle, but all the bullet shots are actually very close together, which we see here. Then again here, this one is high accuracy, low precision. It's close to the middle, but it's not all in the middle. So if you have high accuracy, high precision in the middle, that's the goal which we want, also the goal for the Cameo. That means on a repeatable basis, that when you scan something, every time you scan, you have about the same accuracy, same results. And for me, when I look at the most expensive scanner, then I start asking, is this accurate? These are scans which we see from the Prime Scan, okay? Prime Scan, you can see in the middle, these are scans which you get from the dentist. This scares me. There is so much debris around it, so much misinformation. Something is not right. I think lots of mistakes can happen with these kind of scans, like you see on the Prime Scan. And this is the most expensive scanner you can get on the market, okay? So I'm not sure if this really is true high precision, high accuracy with that scanner, if I get so much debris around it. And areas missing, like you see here, lots of information missing here, lots of debris like you see here. And, you see this, people say, this dentist doesn't know how to scan. Well, the dentist has been trained by Sirona, so the dentist should know how to scan. And this is what we get from the beginner with the Aidite Cameo. The scans come out like this, nice and clean. So we basically make not much debris on the scanner. Now, to communicate, there is a platform. Aidite has their platform, the cloud platform, which basically when you scan, you can send it to the lab. I have developed a system called LOMS, the Lab Order Management System. And this is it's been a little bit too early, this LOMS. We are using it on a daily basis. So it's like we have done, I think, about 5,000 cases now on it. It's fantastic. It's just, it was too early for its time. Now everybody's starting to ask me, hey, can we have this? Can we sell this platform, this LOMS, the lab order management system? And this is really, I don't want to talk about this now because we're talking about the intraoral scanner, but this is a communication tool, sending your scans to the lab, and like WhatsApp, WeChat, and all those kind of things. You can do everything with this platform, okay? So it's like you're like an octopus and you handle all your digital work. And the dentist is like in Amazon, where his case is, how far you are in the lab, the position, all that. So that's very interesting. So the application, you know, it makes no sense to say, yeah, you can do a single crown, you can do a tree in a bridge, you can do an inlay, orthodontics. I mean, whatever we can scan, we can do. Okay, so if you scan a implant, we can do an implant. If you scan a inlay, you do an inlay. So the indication, there is no limitations to the indication. We can, whatever you scan, we can do it. You know, theoretically, you can scan a golf ball and then we can try to mill it. Okay, but it'll never be nice, perfect. The easy motion censoring operation. This is something, if somebody wants to start it, you can start it, and basically by the motion, you can say, okay, you don't have to take off your gloves. You can say forwards, backwards, you know, those kind of things, like a air mouse. This is something very important, okay? The intelligent data optimization, that it really optimizes your data before it's, when you're finished. Then the automatic relocation scan. This is also important, that you're scanning and suddenly you have to go back to the other side, which you already scanned. Is how long does it take to instantly find that position? And that has to happen very fast. Otherwise, you lose your nerves in front of the patient. So it's really amazing how fast it finds it. It comes in a small case, like you see here. This is, you know, this is basically, it's in this case here, and everything is in there. And so you get a laptop. What I've done now, just, I don't know who's watching, but it doesn't really matter. We purchased a few old CEREC 3 systems, and we have gutted the whole inside. And so we put the laptop in there, we put a Samsung monitor on it, and now we have a beautiful cart, okay? You can get them on eBay for about $300. If you want to have a cart, you pimp up your old CEREC and you have a fantastic high-speed scanning system. So this is the system. And the toolkit, the clinical toolkit, you can check undercuts, you can adjust your coordinates, you can extract the margins, you can check the bite, you know, mark the teeth, import directly to exocad. All these things you can do with the clinical toolkit. The only thing most dentists will do is who want to use it on the milling process, they will go to the exocad part of it, okay? So once the scan is done, they hit the next button and it jumps to the clinical exocad design software. So we will now, I'm not going to go through this step by step, which you see here. We'll do it quickly live, okay? So we will do quickly a scan, and something very, very, very important also is the bite. Many scanners on the market have a big problem when they try to scan the bite. I've not had up till now once a problem getting the occlusion right. It always works. The Aidite, the company which makes it for Aidite, the scanner, they are one of the largest company who make industrial scanners for the auto industry. So they know how to match things together, how to get things together. And that's why it's really amazing how fast it finds the bite. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all these processes here. Implant, we look at that, very simple, and we continue here. Keep in mind, as a dentist, you will click on this red mark up there once your scan is done and say Exo Design, and it jumps after the scan has happened to that exocad of your system. So that's like a small intro to the scanner. And now we will have a look how this whole thing works. So let's see. I think I have to, you're sharing your screen. Yes, now I have to switch my screen. New share. And I go to the screen here. Okay. So let's see. Do you see? Let me check. I'll see myself if I see it. Yes, I'm sharing the screen here. Perfect. Okay. Let me close it again because I was not sure if I'm in the right screen. Okay. This is the button for the intraoral scanner. Okay. So when I go here, when I double click on it, it basically opens the software. And this here is the calibration thing. If you would press here, double click on here, it opens a window to calibrate the furnace. So you would go calibrate and basically tells you what to do. If I would press this, it says take the nozzle off, put the scanner into
sorry, but
this.
I'm sorry, but we see a blank screen. We don't see the buttons or.
You don't see. Oh, let me just close. You don't see anything? Let's see what's happened. That's good to know. New screen.
Now you're on the right screen.
Now I'm right?
Yes.
Okay. So you see the screen now? Okay.
Yes.
You see this calibration?
Yes, we can. Vanik.
All right,
Yeah.
perfect. Sorry for that. Okay. Let's say you press the calibration button. Then you get this. 1 second. I have somebody's trying to call me again. Okay. When you press the calibration button, it opens the screen and says what to do. It says, okay, take the tip of your camera, stick it into this part here, stick it into here, and basically press the start button. And the whole thing happens, okay? The whole calibration happens. So it's straightforward, and I'm not going to go through the calibration now, okay? It takes about 2-3 minutes to calibrate it. Something very important, you should keep the camera flat on the table, like you see on the screen, on this picture here. So it should stay straight, flat on the table to do the calibration. Then, let me close this. This here, this button here is the intraoral scanner, okay? That's to start our scan. So what we would do is we would go here, double click on it. And now it opens the Cameo software. I can move this away here. Yes, I see more. And here we have different possibilities. New, load an old case, save something, explore it. I'll show this after everything. So the first thing we do is, let's start with the new case here. Go there, press new case. You can add a doctor to it. If you have any doctors in there, let me delete this. I'm not going to add a doctor. I just say I'm using, somebody's trying to thing here. Okay. I have to have one here now. What's the name? This is the test doc, which you see there. Okay. Then the next thing, patient's name. These are the two things which we want to put in there. And now it depends what you want to do. Okay. Do you want to select something on the screen here and say it's a crown, it's an inlay, it's a veneer, it's opposing? If you are, let me show you first the easiest way to do it. If you say, I don't need this because something which is getting really, really difficult with some of the systems like Medit, then you have to press on the tooth, then you will have to add the shade to it, and you have to add this, and you have to add this, this. And the dentist says, they don't want to do that. So I tell the dentist, look, if you just want to make a scan, it's a prep, it's a inlay, it's a crown, even if it's an implant, just select orthodontics. If you select orthodontics here, basically it's like taking an impression, upper and lower impression. That's all what we in the lab, when we open it, we see where your prep is. We know where the prep is. We know where the implant is, all that, okay? So if you don't want to think too much, just select orthodontics, save it here, and now you can start scanning. Okay, now the scan button becomes active here. Press the scan button, and now automatically what's happening is the screen pops up, upper jaw, lower jaw, bite. Okay, this is how you should try to scan. Go left, right, left, right, left, right. Okay, so I take the scanner, which is here. So I take it off my platform, and it opens this thing which you see on the screen, this small square thing. Now, what is going to happen with this situation which I have here, because I'm streaming through the internet, so I have a camera here, I have this camera here, so it's going to be a little bit slower. It's not the speed like it would be if I would not be using, because now we have two cameras working on the system, so it's a little bit not so easy. So now I'm going to scan the upper jaw. So what I'm going to do is, I just want to show you this. Okay, so I've got here the model. Okay, I'm trying to do it here on the camera. I hope you can see it. So you just start back here, okay, and then you just go like this. I took an ortho model which has got a metal tooth, so you can see that we can do a metal scanner, even if I go backwards, like you see here, okay. So you see, I'm going, I'm going left and right a little bit, and how easy it's scanning and taking all the mess away. Okay, so you see, it's really, you can scan here. I can go around, and it instantly finds it. The depth of field is really excellent. If you see holes, you just go to those holes, you hold the camera in a different angle, and it just closes those holes, okay? You see a hole back here. And just give you an idea, I'm scanning now here, and I want to go to the other side. I'm going to the other molar, okay? I jump here, and instantly finds it, okay? So that's what I'm trying to say is like, if you're scanning with the scanner, and you say, okay, now I have to go quickly here, instantly finds it. You see how fast here, instantly finds it. Okay, now maybe you think the scanner is it's not bad, it's running fast, but let me tell you, the scanner is now running very, very slow because of the different cameras I have here for streaming. Okay, so it's very, very simple, the scanning process. The scan has happened, okay? I put the camera down. And now you'll see down here, it's going to optimize the picture. Optimizing it, okay? And anywhere where it's green, like here in the hole, the implant is not, it's deep there. Anywhere where it's green, there will be a small mistake. Like here, oh, there's a small mistake here. That's missing, okay? So I can go back to that side and see where it is. So I take my camera again, I hold it again here. I go to this area, and then I just scan this area here. Okay, that hole is gone, finished, finito, huh? Or here's a small corner which I saw. And what I'm doing is I'm laying the camera basically onto the model, huh? Okay, good. Once we say, okay, we are satisfied with the scan, and I've not even selected the metal mode. Down here, we have a situation where we can say, okay, metal tooth scan. Let's say you have a highly gold crown, shining very strong. You can press that button, and basically it even makes it more detailed, the gold crowns, okay? So highly shiny metal surfaces are filtered. It changes the color of the light a little bit. So once we're done with this upper jaw, we go next, okay? It calculates it quickly, it optimizes it, it cuts all the debris away, which is not here. Now here there's no tongue in the way or cheeks or anything, so it was easy to scan, but it cleans the scan. It jumps automatically on screen to the lower jaw, and then it says, okay, let's scan the lower jaw. Take the camera, it starts everything, there's no buttons, the camera has no buttons, okay? Start back here. You just basically I took here purposely a model which has got a little bit of everything inside it, you know, kids inside it, metal inside it, shiny, so that you can see that basically it's not a very easy model to scan. Many scanners would have a hard time here when you have tried to scan something shiny. So the algorithm which is used here is excellent, you know. So again, I go away, I come back, and instantly it'll find it, okay? That's the nice thing with the scanner. It finds its position very, very fast. If you're used to an intraoral scanner, you maybe have your scan strategies. So you can use any scan strategy which you have been liking with your intraoral scanner, and the system is smart enough that it adapts to your system. It learns from you, okay? So once I put down the scanner, it'll start showing me the green holes, which are maybe not so good. There is a foot control where you can also use to do it. Okay, there's not many green holes here. Here's one. You can see this one. And here we can do a little bit better. So this canine here. So I take, again, the scanner in my hand. I go to this point here, and then I see where it is. Everything has happened. Sometimes if you have a hard time scanning something, just change the angle of the camera. Turn it a little bit, bend it a little bit, up and down, and then basically it does it, okay? The depth of field is really excellent, which we have here. You don't have to adjust anything. It's all done automatically, okay? Let's assume, I didn't get this side very well. Okay, it's gone. Perfect. Let's assume when you put the camera down, it basically calculates everything. It optimizes everything. And now it'll jump to the next picture, okay? Put the camera down, okay? Yeah, perfect. Jump to the next picture. It'll jump now to the occlusion. If you by mistake started with the wrong bite, you know, started with the lower, even though you should start at the upper, here is a button basically on the right-hand side here to switch. Let me see where it is. My mouse is here. Here, when you press this, you can switch the jaws, upper and lower, in case you made a mistake with the upper and lower one. Now we go to the bite. This is the bite situation. Press again the thing, take your camera, I mean, and you see it's ready. Let me close the model here, okay? And when I go here and you go usually between the cheek, you go inside and it finds the bite really fast. You go up and down a little bit and you will see how these parts will fly together. So boom, that's happened. Once you've done one side, put the camera down or use your foot control or the motion sensor, take the model. Once it's been calculated, don't do anything else. So one side is done. You can see now from the occlusion, it's pretty good. But now you also scan the other side. So do both sides always, if you have two sides. So now we go here, we start the same thing. on the side. That's the other side now. And see when it flies together. Boom. Happened, finished. Bye-bye. And now this one is finished, the scan. Now it's matching everything, optimizing everything, and basically that's the whole scan, okay? So now we can check also from top the occlusion. Now we can see it's nice and equal in the occlusion and say, good, we are happy with it, optimized it. So the colors which are used here is, I would say, one of the best you can find on the market. The way they do it, they have it's like a JPEG pictures in it, and the JPEG gets overlaid over the STL file. So it's done very, very smart, and it gives you beautiful color. Now, the optimization, that means calculating everything, putting all the data together. This takes a little bit time. Now it's at 10%, maybe 2-3 minutes. It depends on the PC speed. If you have a high-speed PC, it's very fast. If you have a high-speed PC, you saw when I was making the pictures, go tuck, 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 tuck. It goes like a machine gun if you have a very fast PC. It goes like, 5 times the speed. So it all depends on the PC. But again, this is very fast compared to many of the scanners on the market. So the calculation, putting the data together is actually excellent. Naturally, you have other tools inside here, like on the right-hand side for like cutting. Let's say you have something which you want to cut away, you can cut that away, and all those kind of things. So that's all, it's all here. Everything is here for you to do. Or that you say, okay, let me optimize it better. Everything, you can do a lot with this scanner. So this takes a few seconds. And we just wait for it. Maybe in the meantime, when it's calculating, maybe it's, can people ask questions, or is it not possible?
Hello, Vanik, there is a customer new message. You can check the comment.
Is it on the chat?
Yes.
Okay. Why do we need a 1 terabyte hard drive? I don't think you need a 1 terabyte hard drive. Did I say you need a one? No, I mean, that's usually what nowadays everything comes with the 1 terabyte hard drive, because you scan and the data you upload. So there is terabyte is not important, but I mean, if you spend the money for a PC, I would get a 1 terabyte or 500, whatever. What is more important, the graphic card, the RAM, or the CPU? I would say if all 3 are excellent, you have the best. But the graphic card, I think, is very, very, very important. The RAM is also important for the amount of pictures you take, because it puts in the RAM. So if you have, let's say, only a small RAM amount, then basically it slows it down. The CPU naturally is also very, very important. Let's see what another question. There's no other questions at the moment. We are at 75% now, so we'll soon be done. The reason why we are at 75, why it's a little bit also slower, is I made a lot of pictures when I was demonstrating, and I was going back and forwards, up and down, left and right. So that's why we have a lot of pictures on this scan. Normally, a scan will take you, I would say, upper and lower nowadays takes about 2-3 minutes to scan it. Okay. There is a product, I can't remember the name. One of our dentists uses it. It's from Espe. It's a retraction cord, but not as a cord. It's a paste you put in into the tissue area, and it really opens it up very nicely. Because that dentist does a lot of preparation, very deep preparations, and normally you would be lost if you have very deep preparation because of the blood. No scanner will work if there's blood. So I can't remember the name, but it's from SPE. It's like a silicon retraction cord, which you put into the area. So now it's it says 100%, but I think it's Chinese 100%, so it takes a few seconds until it's a European 100%. Okay. Aligning the bite, everything has been cleared. Let's see if this. Okay, the question here is what to use, like articulator, visual articulator. Do we need an extra scan like maximum protrusion and lateral movements and all those kind of things? First of all, what we do is I do here with the hospital in the city where we are. We do lots of what you call sleep apnea devices. So I have to get it in a protrusion situation, the bite. It's 60% protrusion. And we use a part called the George gauge. So I scan upper and lower. I put the patient with the George gauge and the 60% protrusion, and then I scan the bite. So I get the bite in that position, which is perfect. And after that, you can put it into any. If you're using Exocad, you have the virtual articulator in Exocad. You can put it in there. So all those kind of things can be done. Lateral movement is at the moment not in it. Lateral movement, that I mean, is like video filming your movement. Those are things which will be happening in the next future, that you can scan, have the patient move his mouth, and it will record that also, and then you can calculate together. So that's why you have to use the lateral movement, which is in the articulator, like you would have a static articulator in the lab. Okay, so the virtual articulators, which you have like an Exocad, you have all of them, Oman, Gearbuff, and whatever you call. You can use your scan in that articulator, and the movements it does that lateral, you will get that information. Okay. Now, once your scan is done, which you see here, and you are happy with it, and blah blah blah, basically you can send it now to the lab, or you can go to the toolkit, and you can say, okay, let me set the occlusion a little bit better or different. Okay. So you can do lots of things here. Okay. Or you say, okay, you know, I'm happy with this. Let me close this and go to the next step. Come on. Yes, I don't want to mark anything. I go here. This is to send to the lab. Let's see if my lab is in here. Upload. It didn't upload it now to my lab, so no problem. Let me close it, and I just show you the case here. Let me load this case. This was this Vanik test doc, and upload it. Well, should actually send it up, but it's no problem. Preview the scan. I got it. Here we come. Come on. Okay. So here we preview our scan. We look at our scan. You see this is the bite. Let me remove the bite on the side because it makes it look ugly. And let's say we want to just look at the upper jaw. So then we look at our scan here, which you see all the information is now here. Huh? So it's a beautiful scan. You can scroll through it. You see everything. Huh? And the model is a highly shiny model. So very, very, very difficult to scan. Okay. If I go out of this situation like here, close this. Even if you close it and you restart it, basically, just show you here. It starts, and very easy to find the case once you've started it. Okay, come on. Okay, so again, I go to load. I load my case here, Vanik test doc. Okay, now if I try to upload it, I have read accept. I've not got any lab set up here, so I can't send it to a lab because I don't have an account set up as yet. Okay, you can change the language to different languages like you see here: German, English, Spanish, French, Italian, and I think Russian, and I don't know, this looks like Turkish and all those kind of things. Something also very important to know is the following situation is here. Come on. when you have loaded a case and you take this case, you've loaded it, and you say, I want to extract the STL files or the OBJ files or whatever, you go to Explore up here. Very easy. You press this and it shows you all the scan data. All the scan data is here. The upper jaw, the lower jaw. So basically you can manually extract it. You can just take this jaw, pull it out and pull it onto a USB stick if you want. Okay, you can say, okay, let me put it onto a USB stick or onto a D drive and just copy it in there. Okay, you can even if you have a viewer on the thing, you can press it, and here what I've got 3D viewer, it opens it in a program, in a 3D program, so you can also view it. If this is like an STL, so it's black and white. If it's OBJ, it's in color. Okay, so you can preview all your scans. If you're using as a dentist ExoCAD for clinical, Exo Design, if you press this, normally it would jump into the thing, but I don't have ExoCAD installed on this PC because it costs me too much money to just for a demo have a dongle. Okay, so if you would say I want to scan different, I want to scan not like I did with as orthodontics, then you can actually say, okay, let me scan. Let me take a new patient. Test 2. Okay, like you see here, then I say this one. Let's see. This is an implant, 2.6 crown. Now you say, what is it? It's an implant, you know, screw retain, for example. And if you press on this side, you know, you get your antagonist. So you press here and say it's the antagonist. So that's the way you would select if you want to go this way instead of choosing the orthodontic way. And now when you say save, it'll open the scan possibilities. I say save. I go to scan, and I just do it just quickly. How would we scan an implant situation? Basically, it says first scan the jaw here. Then it says put the scan body in. So the first thing you do is, I'll only do half the jaw, not to lose too much time. You again turn on the scanner. You go here. Yeah, okay. I thought it. Nobody's going to start from the back forwards. I started, you know, from the back of the mouth and I went forwards. That doesn't matter. Turn this thing around. So once everything is scanned, you know, you say, okay, I've scanned everything, boom, 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 boom. Now, when I say I'm done, I'm going to make the contact here a little bit better because the contact was not really nice. The side is also a little bit missing. I don't want to bore you and take too much of your time, so I'm just doing this quickly here. Just half the jaw, huh? Once this is done, I put the scanner down, and now what's going to happen? It's going to jump to the next thing, next picture up there. Here, it'll jump to this, and I say, okay. It'll jump to this and says, put in the scan body. Jumps there, and now you take your scan body, which you see here, you put this into the implant, okay? And here you see this picture, this circle, which you see here. Okay, what the circle basically does is you can say, okay, cut out this area. So when I go here, I double click on it. Okay, it says here double left click the mouse or click and drag the hole on the right side. Okay, and now when you've done that, basically you can say, okay, now let me scan that implant body. So what it's doing is it's protecting all this. What is blue now is what you scanned before. You don't want to scan that again because you only want to scan the area where the scan body is. So you don't need all that information. So now you take your scanner and you only scan this area here where the scan body is. Okay, so it only fills this area up. And important is that you basically you have the flat side on it. This flat side here, and a little bit the occlusion. That's all what you need. That's the whole thing you scan. So you don't need to scan the whole jaw or whatever, and that's it, okay? And so now when I go to the next picture, okay, even though you maybe see now there's a hole in here, that doesn't matter. You don't need that information. You need basic, now it says scan the lower one. I'm saying, okay, I've already scanned. I'm not interested in scanning the lower one. I'm not interested in scanning the bite. No. So now basically it's optimizing this because I didn't want to scan the lower. I didn't want to scan the bite. I just want to show you what's going to happen now. So now we're going to have a scan the situation. Let's say you had a gingiva former in there to form the gingiva. And now you're going to have the scan body. So when you do your design, you can design it into a gingiva former and scan body is perfect. Come on. Something I've been doing here, I've been scanning my mouth because I usually, from time to time, I scan my lower and then I print it out and I calibrate the printers. I check the printers are printing okay. So I make like a vacuum formed part, put it in my mouth quickly, see, printer's still okay. There's no mistake with the printer. And it's so easy to scan yourself. Okay, I can sit here in front of the computer, just scan it, and it works really perfect. But like I said, you know, you think, oh, it's very fast. It's actually not running high speed because of this camera which you're looking to. It's a streaming camera which takes it sucks a lot of data out of the system. Okay, come on. When you wait, it takes ages to happen. So again, we get scans now from Tree Shape, we get scans from Itero, from all the systems we're getting scans. And I would say all of them are good, okay? I just say, why would a dentist spend, you know, 60,000 euros for a scanner if he can get something for 10,000 and it's better, okay? So let's see how this looks here. I can close it because I'm not going to send it to the cloud. No. And then I'll go to the I'll go to the pre-scan and see what's happened there. So computer is really not very fast, but who cares? Okay, there we go. Let me load this quickly. This was test 2. Preview it. And you will see 2 scans here. Okay. You will see, I only scanned this area here. I was not careful. So you see the marker. So if I remove the marker, then you would have had your emergence profile, everything here. And when you add the marker, it's again in the right position. So this is really nice for Exocad because here what we need for Exocad is this part here, the flat part, this step here, and this here. So this is very important. If you have this little bit around the curve here, I mean, here we have everything around it, but even if you scan in a situation where you can't get around it because it's very tight, this is enough information, like 1/3 here, 1/3 here, flat surface here, and the lab software will just calculate together. If the dentist doesn't use any emergence profile, if he doesn't, he just puts the scan body here and says, you know, you form it, then I say, don't even bother about, just make one scan, put the scan body in here, scan it with one scan, we will fix it in the lab. We will just duplicate it and it's very, very easy. So some dentists just, the nice thing is the system is so open. The Cameo, it's completely open. There is no hidden yes, you have to add this, you have to do this. It's like mixing alginate or a rubber impression material, sticking in your mouth, taking the impression. That's all what this is. It's a very, very simple device for scanning. So this was kind of it, like a small, informal presentation to give you an idea how this whole thing, how this whole thing works. So I hope, you enjoyed this 1 hour presentation, and, hope to see you, in real life. We're doing a course in Dubai on the 2nd and 3rd of July. It's a one-day course for dentists, and it's a one-day course for technicians. It's for dentists to learn also, not only talk about a Cameo scanner, but teaching the dentists how to really optimize, to get predictable aesthetics when they do chairside restorations, how to use their stains, how to use the bionic materials from Aidite and all those things. And for the labs also is how to really get beautiful results with all these fantastic products like the zircon oxide, which they have. So it's going to be a live hands-on course, a real course. I'm so excited. I did that 2 weeks ago. I was in Dubai, and I did also a hands-on course, and it was like, wow, we can do it again. We live again. So I'm really looking forward. If anybody is going on vacation or needs to have continuous education, it's organized by CAP for Aidite, and that's going to be 2nd and 3rd of July. It'll be a little bit hot, but I think it's going to be a real nice time. So thank you to all of you, and enjoy your weekend. I'm done working for today. Some of you are starting your work. Many of you have already finished. So have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanik. Thank you for your nice course. Thank you so much. Thank you all customers to join this meeting. And after this meeting, if you have any questions, welcome to contact with our sales manager. And thank you for all the customers. Thank you, Vanik. And hope everybody have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Vanik. Bye-bye.